Alexa, can we play Skyrim?
Welcome back to Skyrim, adventurer. You were standing at a crossroads deciding where to go. In one direction is an isolated shack, in the other is a bustling tavern. Where would you like to go?
Let's go to the shack.
You meet an orc fisher at the isolated shack. He's lost an item of great sentimental value, a weather-worn journal. He begs you to retrieve it for him. Will you lend your aid to this desperate fisher?
Yes.
You arrive at your first dungeon. As the mighty Dovahkiin, you obviously already know that you can use your weapon, cast spell, or shout to battle your enemies. And, seeing as how you're Skyrim's chosen one, you certainly will never ever need to ask to flee when facing an enemy too powerful for you. Nope, a powerful warrior like you won't ever need to flee, or even take enough damage to ask, "What is my health?" So let's continue. You follow the quest marker to your destination. You approach the entrance. A cool breeze rises from its depths. Will you press forward on your quest?
Yes.
Cracked pottery lines the walls. Inside, you find bone meal in a single septum. You hear clicking. That rock is actually a mud crab. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your sparks shock the mud crab. Your magic skill has increased to level 2. You have learned new spells. The mud crab snaps its pincers. You take 5 damage. What would you like to do?
Shout.
Foos. Your unrelenting force throws the mud crab back, staggering it. The mud crab never gets back up. That's what you get for messing with the Dovahkiin. You have triumphed. You have 95 health. Your thumb grows mighty. Your shout skill has increased to level 2. There are 3 paths forward, a minecart path, a foggy deadwood path, and a wooden ladder. Which do you choose?
Minecart path.
You move deeper into the cave. Your boots splash softly into cold water as you enter a large chamber. You hear clicking. That rock is actually a mud crab. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Let's attack with the weapon.
Your dagger slices the mud crab. Your skill with arms has increased to level 2. The mud crab snaps its pincers. You take 5 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your flames sear the mud crab. Your foe is nothing more than a smoldering heap. You are victorious. Your health is at 90. Your magicka swells with arcane power. Your magic skill has increased to level 3. You ignore the useless junk in the mud crab's inventory and find the superior iron war axe. Ooh, shiny. There are 2 paths before you, a barely lit mineshaft and a mushroom-covered tunnel. Which do you choose?
Mushroom-covered tunnel.
You move deeper into the cave. Lit torches hang from the walls. Who's maintaining these, you wonder? A great danger lies ahead. You pray to the divines but hear nothing in response. You hear heavy clacking noises. A giant mud crab snaps its claws menacingly. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Flee.
No true hero of Skyrim would flee in the face of a boss battle. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your frostbite stings the giant mud crab. The giant mud crab snaps its huge pincers. You take 10 damage. What would you like to do?
Shout.
Foos. Unrelenting force smashes into your foe. Your foe has some resistance to that attack. Your shout skill has increased to level 3. You now command unrelenting force. The giant mud crab snaps its huge pincers. You take 10 damage. What would you like to do?
Attack. Attack.
Foos row. Your unrelenting force tosses the giant mud crab into the air. It crashes to the ground. Your attack was not very effective. The giant mud crab snaps its huge pincers. You take 10 damage. What would you like to do?
We're gonna die.
Cast spell.
Your flames sear the giant mud crab. The giant mud crab snaps its huge pincers. You take 10 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your flames sear the giant mud crab. You stare at the smoking remains of your enemy, impressed. Winterhold College really paid off. You have triumphed. You have 50 health. Your magicka swells with arcane power. Your magic skill has increased to level 4. You pick up the weather-worn journal, determined to return it to its rightful owner. You hop down a ledge and find yourself at the cave's entrance. Neat. The orc fisher thanks you for retrieving his weather-worn journal. How could he live with it? As a reward, he gives you a regifted note. You inspect the note. There's a bloody handprint and the words "we know." We know what, you wonder? After heading out on the road, you meet a guard who says he used to be an adventurer like you until he threw his back out chopping wood. You suggest he come up with a more adventurous-sounding story to impress the maidens. The guard thinks for a moment and nods. Soon, you arrive at a crossroads. In one direction is a quaint farm, in the other is an ancient standing stone. Where would you like to go?
The ancient standing stone.
You meet an Altmer blacksmith at the ancient standing stone. He's lost an item of great sentimental value, a set of silver candlesticks. He begs you to retrieve it for him. Will you lend your aid to this desperate blacksmith?
Yes.
You follow the
These all
quest
gonna
marker
play it
to
the
your
same way.
destination. Some imp stools are growing around the cave. You'll probably never use them, but that doesn't stop you from picking them up. Will you venture in?
Yes.
Animal tracks appear in the soft mud of the cave floor. These are new. A deranged Khajiit looks at you with wild eyes, like a kitten staring at a ball of yarn. Which makes sense, you suppose. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your raised zombie bites the deranged Khajiit. The deranged Khajiit scratches at your face. You take 8 damage. What would you like to do?
Shout.
Futhro. Your unrelenting force tosses the deranged Khajiit into the air. He crashes to the ground. The deranged Khajiit claws at you, but misses. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your flames burn the deranged Khajiit. You stare at the smoking remains of your enemy, impressed. Winterhold College really paid off.
Oh my god.
You are victorious. Your health is at 92. There are 2 ways forward, a creaking wooden door and a wooden ladder. Which do you choose?
Creaking wooden door.
You move deeper into the cave. You examine the twisting tunnels carefully and inspect your map. Easy to get lost down here. The corpse of an ancient Nord rises up before you. It's a Draugr warrior. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Attack with weapon.
Your war axe hacks the Draugr warrior. The Draugr warrior is resistant to that attack.
Man, you were bad at this.
I am really bad.
Your
at this.
skill with arms has increased to level 3. The Draugr warrior strikes you with its ancient sword. You take 6 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your
I'm a
frostbite
wizard
stings
at
the
heart.
Draugr warrior. The Draugr warrior attacks, but you parry the blow. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your raised zombie slaps the Draugr warrior. Your foe breathes its last. Necromancy is always so rewarding. You survived the battle. Your health is at 86.
That's not bad.
Your magic skill has increased to level 5. You have learned new spells. You ignore the useless junk in the Draugr warrior's inventory and find a flawless iron greatsword. Ooh, shiny. There are 2 paths before you, a shadowy corridor and a bone-laden path. Which do you choose?
Shadowy corridor.
You move deeper into the cave. Fresh giant spider eggs sit on the floor. You could swear one of them moved. You see an empty Nord coffin. Suddenly, a restless Draugr leaps out, swinging its sword. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Shout.
Futhro. Your unrelenting force throws the restless Draugr back, staggering it. Your thumb grows mighty. Your shout skill has increased to level 4. The restless Draugr strikes you with its ancient sword. You take 6 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your conjured familiar leaps at the restless Draugr. The restless Draugr strikes you with its ancient sword. You take 6 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your flames burn the restless Draugr. The restless Draugr attacks, but you parry the blow. What would you like to do?
Attack.
You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Shout.
Foos row. Your mighty shout
You don't
slams
attack
the
with weapon,
restless
they're
Draugr
resistant.
into the dirt. The restless Draugr croaks one last breath, defeated. You have triumphed. You have 74 health. There are 2 ways forward, a waterlogged corridor and an excavated mineshaft. Which do you choose?
Excavated mineshaft.
You move deeper
Thank
into
you.
the
I
cave.
didn't want to go into the water.
Moss lines the walls of this cavernous chamber. Red eyes peer out from the darkness. Oh no, it's a bloodthirsty vampire. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Attack with weapon?
Your great sword strikes the vampire. Your foe has some resistance to that attack. The vampire drains your life essence. You take 7 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your conjured familiar gnashes at the vampire. The vampire drains your life essence. You take 7 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell? We'll shout next.
Your raised zombie bites the vampire. Your magicka swells with arcane power. Your magic skill has increased to level 6. The vampire drains your life essence. You take 7 damage. What would you like to do?
Shout.
Foos row. Your mighty thumb crashes into your foe. The vampire croaks one last breath, defeated. You have triumphed. You have 53 health. There are 2 ways forward, a sturdy ladder and a rope ladder.
Oh my god.
Which do you choose?
What kind of ladder would you like?
A rope ladder.
You move deeper into the cave. The tunnel narrows as you head deeper into the cave. How long is this quest? You're nearly finished here, you realize. Of course, the hardest battle is yet to come. You hear heavy clacking noises. A giant mud crab snaps its claws menacingly. You can attack with weapon, cast spell, use shout, or flee. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your conjured familiar leaps at the giant mud crab. The giant mud crab snaps its huge pincers. You take 10 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your conjured familiar bites the giant mud crab. The giant mud crab snaps its huge pincers. You take 10 damage. What would you like to do?
Cast spell.
Your conjured familiar leaps at the giant mud crab, defeating it once and for all. Good boy. You have triumphed. You have 33 health. You pick up the set of silver candlesticks, determined to return it to its rightful owner. You hop down a ledge and find yourself at the cave's entrance. Neat.
Return this and
The Altmer
we'll call it a
blacksmith
day.
thanks you for retrieving his set of silver candlesticks. How could he live with it? As a reward, he gives you a bottle of skooma. This reminds you of your college days at Winterhold. You head out on the road. After stopping to converse with some old bearded men on top of a mountain, you arrive at a crossroads. In one direction is a fishing camp, in the other is a small hamlet. Where would you like to go?
Lol. Hamlet.
Once at the small hamlet, an imperial explorer greets you. He looks quite sad. He tells you his childhood friend was
Alexa?
killed by a mysterious evil in a dense forest. Will you avenge his childhood friend?
Alexa? Can we pause?
Will you avenge his childhood friend?
Can we pause?
Will you avenge his childhood friend?
Yes.
You follow the quest marker to your destination. Rabbits scatter as you enter the
I want to
forest.
stop.
You wonder why they are even in the game.